What about you guys? We called you last night. You had a nice little Sprouts run with the kids.
Sprouts run with the kids. The wife set me out on the honey-do list after the gym in the rain. So try to be a good husband, and ran out when you guys called me. So that was good. You guys were crunching away with topics and agendas. So
Claude. Thank God for Claude.
It put it together. It didn't give us the ideas.
It didn't, but like, come on, bro.
You can't give it all to Claude. We put it together.
Hold on. Now let me just say this.
There's a lot of things that I do
where
AI takes over, right? But last night was not about AI.
Let me just say this. Billy is going to be the guy to like just get it all out and get it all focused. And that was clutch last night. Because I'm just like, let's just, freehand this, like just have a conversation. Billy last night's like, no, we got to do this. And then we have to say this at this point. Like we got strategic with like the whole content creation thing, which is kind of what I do with YouTube. And I have to really admire that about you, because that's a good move right there. And that's how you have to think about these things.
explain Claude. First time I'm hearing about it.
Claude is the new AI software. And for marketing purposes, I love this thing 10 times better. It's just... I think it does the same thing as ChatGPT, to be honest with you, but the interface is a little bit different. Like you can make projects in there. So I'm creating one for those carousels that I spoke to you about for like Instagram. And essentially you can give it instructions on how to structure it, and you can upload a certain amount of data that's relevant to that topic. So if you spend like a good 8 to 10 hours and you max it out with all the data you're looking for, like all I did was teach it about what Instagram carousels are, and then I'm also going to try and teach it sales at the same time.
When you say teach it, are you telling it what it is and what it does for you?
What an Instagram carousel is, why I'm doing it, how you tell a story, and like the whole sales process. And from a marketing perspective, it's almost like training an employee. That's
asking you, hey, I need more clarification. I don't understand this.
No. Well, I mean, it doesn't really do that. It's more like you just have to. The more you feed it, the better result you're going to get.
It's like a wife.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So I wouldn't know. But anyway, back on topic. So we are starting out the second episode with segments, and our first segment is Get Local, where we are talking all things Tampa Bay. Billy, you want to start us off?
Well, you want to go through the ideas, or what are we going?
The ideas.
How we got to it, or are we just kind of diving right in?
I don't think people need to know how we got to it. I think that, well, okay. Yes, go through the ideas, because I want to explain the segment and why we do it.
Or podcast, right? I mean, How did we get to this? Well, I think the idea was we wanted to figure out a way to tie our podcast to the local community, get involved, and really network right into the local community. So some of the ideas we had included talking about events, new businesses opening, and just really anything that's going on downtown Tampa. I mean, we see a lot of podcasts, the Tampa Bay Developer, talking about all different things going on downtown. It's an awesome podcast. I love listening to it, especially the shorts that come out of it. It's great. And so, if we can kind of piggyback off some of those things, kind of discuss those topics, how it relates to business in Tampa, I think that would be really cool and really helpful for hopefully our audience as it grows.
Yeah, I think going the local route again was the move for this. We all have somewhat local businesses. Some of our clients, they're out of state, whatever it is, but for the most part, we're local guys, and we could sit here and talk about boring marketing terms all day long, which we will, because we love talking about that stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to entice the people around us, and the local ideas, I think, is the best way to go. So
I think the other cool part about it is we're all coming from a different place, right? New York, New Jersey. We met up here, on the 15th floor of this building.
I don't know if we should put that in there. People don't like the fact that we came down here. We took over Florida, man.
Yeah, I know. When I tell people I moved here, did you get that at all when you came down?
I get that.
I had a lot of people that were like looking the other way.
Yeah, like because you're a shoebie, like you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, like people coming from New York. We don't want you here.
Believe it or not, I feel that a little bit in the suburbs where we're at, because
right?
Yeah, because it's so congested now. Yeah. So the topics, it wasn't like this before you guys came.
That Riverview traffic, I remember when I was doing door-to-door out there, like that traffic at like 4:30 is the worst, man. It's you're better off staying downtown till like 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy to me is I see the highways, especially heading towards Riverview, going out that direction. I mean, I don't ever see it like with traffic. I mean, is it just when you get into it's when you get off the highway and it's the local streets that are...
Getting on 75 before like the Riverview exit it starts getting congested.
And the Selman too, that Selman Express lane, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Getting off the exits to get to the local routes, like so I haven't been there that long to know all the roads, but 301 is kind of a major artery that goes through the local routes, and that gets backed up because there's traffic light after traffic light, and so you're backed up 4 lights. You're going 40 minutes maybe for 4 miles. Yeah.
That's something you don't expect when leaving New York and Florida, but the infrastructure just isn't built for it here yet. And I don't think they were planning on it.
No, they weren't. I mean, now the St. Pete, the Skyway for St. Pete actually was that helped a little bit, but they'd have to redo all these highways. And this is a growing problem down south. I actually encountered this problem first in Texas, but in Texas their solution was we're just going to do a double-decker road.
Well, that's what they did heading out to Riverview. They have the
Expressway, right?
Well, on the Selman they have it, but do they have it going towards? Actually, I haven't taken that. I'm always on the Selman. That's why.
I don't know the names of any roads. Yeah. I know the Selman, I know the bridges, but like anything.
And this is why people hate us in Florida.
Hey, I ride a scooter here. I sold my car.
You're trying to blend in.
Yeah. Well, no, the opposite actually. So at the gym, I was talking to these guys in the sauna, and they've been in Tampa for a long enough time, like maybe 10 years. I think one of the guys was saying, and he was like, "Wow, you are one of the first people that like I've heard have actually came to Tampa and got rid of your car." He's like, 5 years ago, you had to have a car, otherwise you felt left out, like you weren't getting around without a car, and I still think that's true. Like, my girlfriend and I, we have one car, we share it and we get around to where we need to go. But, if we don't have to touch a car, we won't, and now with all these services, you could just order.
I'm pretty resourceful when you don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got Publix, there's 2 Publix, like downtown. There's one downtown, one right over the bridge where I am. So both walking distance,
This actually brings up another good point because I don't think enough people downtown really get to see and enjoy Florida. As someone who travels the state on like a week-to-week basis, there is so much more than just downtown Tampa. And a lot of people downtown don't really know about us. And the new people that come here, we were just talking with some of the other guys at WeWork, there's strawberry farms. There's so much to do outside of like the bubble of Tampa's downtown area and like Water Street and even Hyde Park and everything. You go out to like the more rural areas, there's just a lot more to do. And hold on, there's not a lot to do, but there's a lot to see, if that makes sense.
How often are you traveling?
15 days a month.
Coast to coast?
Coast to coast, yeah. From here to Palm Beach, sometimes down to Homestead, and then back up.
What's your favorite part?
Home. Well, aside from home,
Home being here.
home being Tampa. Palm Beach has its perks. Palm Beach definitely has its perks. But I am definitely a West Coast guy, not an East Coast guy. I tried the East Coast, lived there for a year in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, was just not a fan of it. And just there's something about the ecosystem of Tampa which is so appealing that I feel like there's a reason that people don't leave because there really is a lot to do here. And it's a little more comforting than over there. I'm definitely on the radar when I'm out there.
Yeah. It won't let me.
I met a couple people that have moved. I think it's the laptop. It's
It's the laptop.
It's going on and off. Is your charger in all the way?
Camera's working. Mine?
Yeah, yours is good. Yours is good.
I've met a couple people that have moved from Miami, like younger guys around our age that have moved from Miami over to Tampa because it's just there's a lot more opportunity. It's like Miami's so built up already, especially when it comes to development. And of course there's more room, right? But the big things are there.
And there's a lot more still coming here. And to kind of redirect the conversation onto it, Cousin Vinny's opened up today. So going back to that whole moving to Tampa thing, there's a lot of opportunity here. And even though less people are moving here, which actually I think is a good thing, there's still a lot booming right now. Like these guys came down. I actually started following them about a year ago. They were a pop-up shop. I don't know if you guys knew about that.
Yeah, it was like a ghost kitchen, right? I thought that's what I remember reading about.
Yeah, you could only get it from like 12 to 3, I think Fridays and Saturdays or something. But they do chicken cutlet heroes. And it was like all fresh and everything. I didn't get a chance to go today. I drove past it, line down the street, bro.
Did you get the sandwich?
No. Oh, no. Because so they opened up right when I was leaving.
So they built their audience online before they had a brick and mortar, before they were committed to location.
Have you heard of ghost kitchens?
Yeah.
You heard of this concept?
Of course,
Yeah.
So
I think that's incredible.
So actually, well, hold on. It wasn't a ghost kitchen. It was them. So like, I think can you explain what a ghost kitchen is?
So a ghost kitchen is, let's say I have a diner, right, that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day, okay? And I have the kitchen, the equipment, and the ingredients to do other food, right? So let's say it's called Billy's Diner. Okay. But you also want to open up Amy's Omelet House or Amy's Pancake House. Okay. Amy's Pancake House is not a brick and mortar. Amy's Pancake House is on the third-party sites. Right. They might have their own website. They might be on the DoorDash, the Grubhubs, and whatnot. When you're searching for pancakes near me or breakfast near me, you see Amy's Pancake House, 5-star reviews, yada yada yada. You don't care that she's not. You don't care that you don't know where she's at. You care that she's going to deliver to you and whatnot. Right. She's operating at a Billy's Diner, right? And so this happened a lot in the cities with like a lot of the ethnic or Asian cuisines where they would run different style, Asian restaurants out of one kitchen, right? Okay. So it was pretty effective during COVID. I don't know if it's watered down now, but it seems like it's.
People have really found out about it, I think, because like DoorDash and these sites, they actually release like the addresses, and then you start putting two and two together. It's like, okay, this is coming from here, whatever it is.
I always thought it was more of like because I knew somebody on Long Island that was doing this, where it wasn't any kind of kitchen or any, it wasn't a restaurant. Well, I should say this. It wasn't a restaurant like brick and mortar. They got like cheap space in like an industrial park and just set up a kitchen because it was cheap there. They could do whatever they want.
They'll do it at a commissary. Commissary is a large warehouse space. Yeah. And you can run multiple operations out of it. Catering halls, church kitchens and whatnot. Yeah.
So I didn't realize they were using like other restaurants too. That's pretty interesting. I always thought it was just like some place in the middle of nowhere.
I had a customer in Philly, and they were a pizza joint, and they had this concept come in. It was a burger concept that kind of Beast Burger. I don't remember the name, but they basically, I don't want to say they become like a parasite onto your name, but they say, hey, listen, we're going to provide you the food, the ingredients, the instructions. You're using your crew and you're cooking our burger, but you're going to get a portion of the sales that you sell out of this.
There was, and I want to end that note because I do want to go back to like their story and everything, but there was a lot of. In the beginning, I think this is a good like lesson for like young entrepreneurs who want to get started. Dude, starting a restaurant, I think we can all agree is probably the hardest industry to penetrate and to stay afloat in. Your family's in it, your family's in it, my family's in it, and you start realizing that it's a grind, but it's like with our businesses, there's a grind, but there's a point like that we want to get it to, and then we can figure it all out. There's no end point with a restaurant. It's you keep going, and then the next generation takes it over. So there was a lot of quality control issues with that, and that's where a lot of people ran into problems. Where I think even the biggest ones, like I remember we were working with them at the time. I forgot what it was, but virtual dining concepts. Like I don't even know if they're still doing them anymore. Because it was so crazy. No, but that was the whole thing. That they were the ones that did all like the celebrity ones. Like I think J-Lo had cookies. There was the Mr. Beast burger and everything like that. Yeah, that was it. Like they would promote. No, they would promote it. It is right. No, it was a virtual restaurant where they would promote it, and then you would basically just be able to order from DoorDash or whatever it is, like he just explained over there.
Here's a quick way for any celebrities that have a following to make a quick buck. Do that, dude.
They did.
Sell a cookie. Have everybody order it on DoorDash.
The biggest guy's getting sued. The biggest guy's getting sued right now.
You know how many cookies you'll sell? I know. That's a great idea.
But back to Cousin Vinny's. Cousin Vinny's, they went the pop-up route. And for the young entrepreneurs, the reason I bring that up is because although it's difficult, they only had to work a couple hours a week, and they could do like limited quantities. You could only buy it in this like 4-hour window, which was cool to me because it's like a secret thing almost. You can't just go and get it. And they relied heavily on social media, which was crazy. They were putting out a lot of content, like the Paisan content, things like that, And it for me, as a New Yorker who came down here, it was like a good reminder of home where you can't just go to like your local deli because we got delis in every fucking corner back up there,
Yeah. But somehow every day by 1:00 they're out of whatever it is you want because
you're out of what you want.
Exactly. They can't just order a little bit more because they know every single day it gets sold out. It's one of those things.
About the strategy these guys had. I don't know much about that. I'm hearing it for the first time today. But it seems to me they've mastered the art of the anticipation and exclusivity factor of their business before they even took a space and took the chance that it takes for businesses to open up.
So I actually saw how this happened. Their marketing team was MMG Marketing Group. Also shout them out. They're another local agency. They focus heavily on like local marketing down here, and they did collaboration posts. That was the big thing with them. So, and I actually did this myself when was running the Tony Bakes page. Basically, like, you do like, I don't know. And again, I don't know if they exactly did this. What I'm assuming as someone who's like in this field, and I would love to sit down and talk with them about this. There was an influencer marketing approach to it. So like the big things locally are like the local food pages, like Tampa Foodies is one of them. That's So Tampa, all these other pages out there. So what they did was they would notify these pages, and like in there might have been like a paid shout out or like free food or something, and they would spread the word to Tampa because it's local. That like restaurants. This is probably where restaurants can benefit the most is by doing some sort of local influencer campaign. Excuse me. So they started promoting it through that. So the cross pollinating from different audiences, and it's just one of the tactics to just get your name out there, other than like running like a paid ad or something, because it's more organic and it feels newer. Like I saw this new French bakery that opened up in Wesley Chapel. I'm gonna go take a ride over there on Sunday, but I saw it on That's So Tampa. I didn't see it on their page because their page is brand new. It's only got like 50 followers or something like that.
How was each party benefiting? Is one being compensated?
Yeah, most likely. Like if you're big enough.
And the other one's getting compensated, or the value exchange they're getting is the followers, views, and customer base?
There's two ways to do influencer marketing. The first is compensation. You pay the page is bigger than you pay them, they shout it out, whatever. You look for whatever the conversions are, you track it, or you just do it for the exposure. That's it.
It's exposure.
Exposure. There, yes and no. There is, like, if you do an event or something like that, but that's getting way in there. So, but yeah, it's strictly an exposure thing. The other way is what I like to call a viral trade-off. We did this with a lot of people where we were the bigger fish at the time. We had a viral concept and they needed a viral video. So what we would do is we would basically like provide not like a service, but we would go and make the content with them, and that helped blow up their page, but they needed to blow up at that time. So, and they needed content as well. So they would just kind of use us to kind of make some sort of piece of content their way, put that on, and that video ended up going viral. It got like 500,000 views.
On your page or theirs?
Their page, on their page.
So how'd that benefit you?
So we got their audience. They were a business audience. We were a cleaning audience. We were selling a business course. So the business audience got the viral video. Yeah. We got the sales for our business course, even though we're a cleaning company. And that was the trade-off right there.
So I think this is a incredible way to market, especially in a local thing, a local community.
And by the way, you don't have to do it at the level that we were at with millions and millions of subscribers. It works on the smaller level.
When I first moved here, my whole feed was Tampa this, Tampa that, right? I would scroll through, literally, at night. I would scroll through and watch these videos on restaurant reviews. I was like, oh, try this dish, try this, whatever. I would watch that video. I have a whole list on my phone. I saved the restaurant names and I'd pin them in my Apple Maps. I have a whole list. So now anytime Lexi and I are anywhere, we're like, oh, what can we eat around here? I'll go to my Apple Maps because I know I saw it on Instagram. So reality is, there's no way to track it, but I think it's a fantastic way to market to local businesses.
Well, so for instance, like to bring up another example, the tire and auto place that you went to this past weekend, something that they could do is like That's So Tampa thing. Like they could like run some sort of special. What was the name of that place again?
Riverview Tire and Auto.
Okay. And it was a good place, I'm guessing?
Listen, I had a nail in my tire. I found out at 5 o'clock. And I called some other place around, and with the traffic there, they're like, oh, yeah, there's a place down the road. I'm like, down the road's an hour. You guys close at 6. I pulled up the shop. Literally, it was looked like a hole in the wall, mechanic shop. Pulled in. This kid, I think his name was Dinesh. Shout out to Dinesh. Great job with the customer service. And within 6 minutes, had my truck jacked up, had a guy take the tire off, patch it, and I was on the road. I was like, wow. Yeah.
That was New York. You would have been there for 2 hours. The guy would have been sipping on coffee, looking at your truck, like, yeah.
So, customer service.
Yeah. That's it. And for them, like they were, like I said, they could run a special somewhere, and for them, I would do like some sort of customer service special, where they go out and like maybe they film a couple customers coming in for the day. They do something along those lines, and they're like, third customer to come in joins our loyalty program or however it is. But sometimes it makes sense for like to go with like that local restaurant and it's like a tire shop. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but since they're both in the same area, like cross pollinate the platforms again, you know?
So that brings up the question I have is, all these ideas are great, right? It either requires the capital to hire an outside firm to help you manage and create the content, or what I'm seeing a lot, especially in the restaurant world now, and a lot of my clients, is that they have either their kids or some kids that are in the college nearby come by and help them out for a month or two during the break. What is the importance of bringing youth within the business, even if they don't know how to hold a spatula or make a sandwich, but they know how to hold a cell phone?
Yeah. The youth, they think it's fun, first of all. It's just like, at the end of the day, you got to have fun doing this. Like, I'm blessed. I thank God every single day. I'm in a career path that I have fun. I go off-roading for my job. Like, I get that. Like, I get to have fun with this job, you know? But for them, like, you let them kind of try it out. And if you're looking for like that cheap approach to it, yeah, they're not going to have all the answers, but guess what? They want to showboat to their friends that, you know what, I'm going to get a viral video out this week. Let them have fun with it. But if you're going to do that, let them rock. Like, don't like try and hold them back or anything like that. Like, I'm sure you guys know with like clients, like they want to take a brand in like a certain direction. For me right now, with the amount of content that gets put out on the internet, I think that you almost have to just try something new every single day, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I don't think there's a playbook anymore. It's just we have to throw a bunch of shit at the wall on a week-to-week basis, and get calculated a little bit. Like there's certain things that you have to measure, hooks and what ads are performing, what ads are not. But you should constantly be trying to do new things. I mean, like how does that kind of reflect in you guys' businesses?
Totally. I think that when you're talking about bringing youth in, so to touch on that, I think it's it's almost like any internship, right? It's something where you're giving somebody an opportunity to learn, grow, potentially provide some value, and like Tony said, if they're just having fun with it, they're being creative, and they're that's what people want. They want the authenticity behind, not just in front of, but behind the camera as well, and you could feel that in a lot of videos. So I think those are the kinds of videos that actually do well. It's like when everything's professionally produced, right? I mean, look at how many people we see every day on our feeds that, you could tell like this guy just stood there with an iPhone, yet he's worth, $1 billion. Well, that's all it takes. It's authentic. So I think that's pretty cool. But touching on what you were talking about with testing, and I know you brought up ads, which is that's certainly it's more my department, but I think, with anything, with any kind of campaign today, with how fast algorithms change, with how fast human tendencies change just in the digital space, there's no reason not to test anything and everything with a calculated approach, right? It's not, at the end of the day, it may seem like we're just throwing shit on the wall and to figure out what sticks, but, you kind of have to got it. Yeah, right. At the end of the day.
Hold on one sec. I think there is to a degree, but do you guys believe that like business also has to be very calculated at the same time though? Like there's like an even balance of like try too much and like fuck around, find out, but too much of that you're gonna find out. So I don't know. You brought that point up last week, and I really like that where you said, at what point are you the expert, and at what point are you like just bullshitting online? How do we translate that now into business? Like, at what point do you pursue the idea or the marketing or the marketing direction you want to take your business?
So I think about that often because I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I found a school here in Riverview once I moved in. And shout out to Gracie Brandon and Rob Donofrio. He has a Instagram page and a great following, and he puts great content out there on a regular. And what I notice about his content is that he is the expert in what he does. And he puts out just generic content. It could be him.
Is he local?
Yeah, he's 20 minutes away. Yeah,
that's right.
at his school. And what I like about his approach is that he's always updating content on there. And it's him talking as an expert. He's like, hey, don't do this, try this. Or this is why this doesn't work. But he dumbs it down in a way to the general audience. Like someone who's trained understands where he's coming from, but someone who doesn't be like, oh, okay, I thought I thought one guy could beat up 5 guys. No, that's fake. That doesn't happen, right? That's only in movies. But he puts himself, and many guys in his position with the content he puts out there, he puts himself out there as the expert in that. So there is no validation on your end. If you've never trained before, you're like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's the expert. So it kind of puts you in a position of a comfort in knowing that you're going to a place where this guy knows what he's talking about. So I'm using that as a small example. But, you know, you switch it over to an attorney, right? An attorney, you know, they're a dime a dozen, it seems like, here in Florida. Every billboard you see is a law office. But, you know, how can you differentiate the guys outside the billboard? Well, maybe it's the attorney who's taking the time to put tips and tricks out there on, and maybe not just legal matter, but it can be anything. And you look at them and say, hey, you know what? They know what they're talking about. Without even knowing him, I trust him. And trust is the brand, right?
Did you find him through Instagram?
No, actually, I didn't. No, it was kind of a referral from, to be honest with you, Google. You know, I went to a couple different schools and I checked them out, and this, you know, felt right. And I met the guy, really liked him. It's a good school, good program. So,
well, so then that kind of brings us to the next point. It's like on that, I guess, referrals and then recurring customers at that point. I said it before. I've built 4 solid social media pages, and my business 95% referral. And I think referrals come from a degree of expertise and customer service. It's like, how well are you treating your current clients, and are you producing enough for them to be like, oh, this guy is so good, I'm going to go recommend him to 2 or 3 of my friends, and I'm going to let that, and I'm telling them to trust him with their, you know, investment or whatever it is. So like, I guess on that approach to it, like, how do you keep your current customers happy? And is it just doing the same thing for them on a consistent basis, or is it like constantly doing like new things for them? You know, for me, right now in my business, I'm trying to, I should say my side hustle, which it is a business, but I'm still working full time. So for me though, I'm trying to figure out more ways to generate revenue for them and work with them and work harder for them, you know, obviously while I'm still working my job. But I know a lot of other people that have been telling me, like, just get more clients. But I'm kind of liking the approach of keeping my client limit down and just really trying to do the right thing by them and like helping them grow their businesses. Like, is that kind of like how you guys are kind of handling it? Like where do you guys go? Is it more quantity, or are you going for more quality?
I always lean towards quality, right? In the beginning, early on.
For reference, how long have most of your clients been with you? I feel like you have a long.
Yeah, so I'm fortunate where, you know, this will be my 5th year with Overama, and majority of my clients have been with me. You know, I would say 60% of my clients now have been since my first year. A lot of my client base was hospitality focused and restaurants during COVID and whatnot, and it's grew from there. But, you know, I endless examples, even from today, phone calls where my thing is, if they call me, they're calling me for a reason, right? They're calling me either to answer a question for them. You know, I had a previous customer who, you know, changed courses. He had another company deal with him last year, but I think I left such a good taste in his mouth, just being upfront and honest with him, that he called me back today to ask a question, right? Because he felt like he was being charged something wrong, whatever the case was. But for me, even, you know, things don't last forever, right? Sometimes companies or customers outgrow your services and vice versa. I always try to leave on the positive note, right? You know, in the web design space, how many times where, you know, you have a client making a move somewhere else and you got to hand over domain information and do the transfer. Or I've been many more times on the other end of it where I have to request it from other companies. And it's a 50-50 split, but oftentimes those who are open about it and want to help you, they know there's a bigger game here, you know. And a funny story, during the holiday break, I had a restaurant client who they hired us to do their website and their menus and all that stuff. And this customer didn't really know much about Google Business and if he had ownership or access of it. And I explained to him, I said, probably whoever created your page in the past has it. Not a problem. If you don't know who it is, we'll request access. Don't you know I request access, and a day later a guy calls me fuming, pissed off. And he's barking up the wrong tree. And I always try to kill people with kindness first. And he's like, you know, I'm the guy who created the page, and, you know, they're going to either pay me to let it go. And I say, you know what? There's a time to be a nice guy and a time to be a jerk. And I was just flat out with him. I said, listen, if you were doing a great job, I wouldn't be here. They wouldn't have called me. And second of all, this is a business owner's business page. You have no reason to hijack it, because in 3 days I'll take it over from Google. So we can do it the easy way, or I can be, you know, upfront about it. So I always try to lead with honesty. Because even if it doesn't work out, I can't tell you how many times they come back later. It could be just a simple phone call. Right. Hey, how's everything going? But I always want to have a door that I can reopen. And I want the same for people that I've done business with.
I've found that doing that whole trust factor, because I've actually, the one thing I said I wanted to focus on, because I was not good at sales, like focus on my sales process. And I realized that the reason my sales process was so flawed was because I come from that solar door-to-door background. There's a lot of bullshitting in that, you know. And Tommy, we fucking love you, buddy. Love you, Tommy. But it does come with the industry. You know, you are putting out a good product, but there's a certain degree that you have to bullshit with that. You know, you're walking up to somebody's house. And it was good because it got me in front of a lot of people, taught me how to do sales. But there's a part of me now that I've built up such a portfolio that I only focus on the trust and like explaining to people, this is what I do. Here's how I can help you. Do you want my service? If you don't, thank you. Let's have a nice day. And that's it. And leave it at that, you know. What about you? Quiet bones over there?
Yeah, I'm tired.
I know, it is late, man.
Late for me. I got to have some more coffee to keep myself going here.
You sure it wasn't all them pretzel bites?
Yeah, the pretzel bites did me in a little.
Kirkland.
Kirkland, baby. Kirkland, baby. But no, how, like, so it's like, we've kind of heard from the local restaurant, you know, like customer service, like, how are you kind of keeping your customers and like keeping them happy and growing with them?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, you know, there's a lot of components that come to it. The first thing that I learned was actually having a reason for customers to stick around, right? When I started in the beginning, you build a website, most small businesses, they won't touch it for years, right? I mean, you see it all the time. So, you know, you could build a website, they could be, you know, happy as could be. Maybe they refer somebody to you. Okay, great. But if you don't have somebody to keep them around, then I'm sorry, some kind of product or service to keep them around, there's nothing else you could offer, right? You don't have something to offer, a benefit or value to provide. So that's a problem in the web design space. It's a problem in many different industries, you know, but there's all different ways to go around that. So that's a big part. That's what I struggled with in the beginning with client retention and really like building recurring revenue to sustain a business. Right. But there's a flip side to it, right? And I'll kind of play devil's advocate a little bit here because obviously, you know, keeping clients, you know, working with clients long term is great. I've had some you know scenarios where it's worked out great. I've had scenarios where it's kind of like a rocky road, and I'm kind of going through that now. It's something that we actually haven't discussed as a group, but I kind of want to get your ideas on it. You know, it's a client that I had since the first month I started the Wix partnership. But the other side is, you know, you look at businesses, and I'll refer to Lentech quite a bit, you know, I'm sure as we go, you know, on the pod, but they're a business where, I mean, it's just straight up numbers. You know, it is, yeah, if you get somebody to come back, you can get them on a, you know, some kind of renewal or something like that. And Lentech does small business loans for anyone, you know, wondering. So, you know, that is it's a numbers game, right? And it's like you put somebody through a pipeline, whether it goes through or it doesn't, you're on to the next, and you got 15 other people waiting in the pipeline. Book the call, and that's it. And these people, you know, we talk about it all the time, you know. I remember you saying like you were interested in the fact that a lot of our customers, like are my clients now, I haven't shaken their hand in person, you know, but I do that on a small scale. You look at Lentech and they're doing that with 300 people a month, taking out tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, some in the millions of dollars, and they don't even know, you know, they're not shaking hands with the guy that anyone actually, you know.
You're not going to the restaurant and being Mr. Chipotle.
Right.
Exactly.
Mrs. Kava isn't there.
Yeah. So, you know, it kind of gets into the whole idea of client retention, but client churn as well. And, you know, I think different businesses have, you know, of course, have different models on how to handle that. In some instances, there's really not much you can do, right? I know some companies in the MCA space, like they will do, you know, they'll try and get into the credit card processing world, or they'll try and get into, you know, some kind of like business insurance, more of like referrals. Again, it's kind of like this one-time thing.
Well, it's interesting because it's like even John Deere. Shout out Everglades Equipment Group, official first sponsor. When I first got to the company, because the thing with Deere has a Deere's like I resemble it to a cult in the sense where it's like it really has a cult following. Like you want to learn how to build a cult following, you look at what tractor companies have been doing for 6-7 generations, you know. People are
little John Deere.
Yeah.
I know nothing about tractors.
Nobody
I
knows
have
anything about
a John
tractors.
Deere
Yeah.
ornament on my Christmas tree.
Exactly, bro.
Since I can remember.
Everybody knows John Deere.
ornament. It's
Everybody
like
knows
the
John
coolest
Deere.
thing.
Everybody knows John Deere. But when you get to like the level of farmers, people are loyal to their brands, and a part of that has to do with their dealers, the dealer that they work with. Now, you can go online, you can find a lot of hate about like, the dealer did this, John Deere's doing that. At the end of the day, John Deere is out there to try and John Deere is obviously out there to, make money, but to make money in the tractor world, you have to make people happy, and you have to make sure that the machines are operating right. So if you have a good dealership that you're working with, you're not really going to really run into that problem, But they do a really, really fantastic job at customer service, which is something that I never thought, like, not that I didn't think about it, but again, I don't meet a lot of people, and they live off of keeping the same customers for years and years and years. Because once you buy that tractor, someone's going to have to service it, And I swear to God, I have seen these guys straight up drop everything, deliver. A tractor breaks down, they go pick it up, but they have a new one that they're going to take the loss on to make sure that their customer is still rocking and rolling. And like that's something that you don't really see a lot these days.
Well, think about generational brands in general. How many brands can you think of off the top of your head that, you say, hey, my dad had this or my grandfather had this? I think of Harley Davidson in the motorcycle space, right? Yeah. What other brands out there off the top of your head resonate to, hey, this is a family
My dad
name.
had deer, my granddad had that.
Exactly.
That's the same we said. My granddad had it, my dad had it, I'm going to have it, my son's going to have
We
it.
went to Disney World. I took my kids for the first time last year, and there was a perfect moment in Disney World where it made sense to me. It was, you could tell it was a grandmother with her daughter and the granddaughter, all hugging, holding hands in front of the Magic Kingdom. And I said, holy crap, that's what the brand is. The brand is creating those moments that the grandmother had when she was the granddaughter's age, and now it transcended 70 years. Yeah. Right? So that's the power of a generational brand. And how do you capture that and make it part of what you do? Because John Deere was around way before social media, way before lead generation and all the other stuff. Yep. What did they do right back then that created that brand identity?
You want to know what it is, and that brings me to not a main topic. We didn't really discuss this, but you know what you never see people talking about on social media? Customer fucking service, bro. It's how much money can you take from this person. There's never, how do I treat my customer the right way so they're going to keep me for 6 or 7 months, man? Yeah.
Well, that's a huge deal in our world for sure. I mean, I
just put that together right now. Like literally, as we're having this conversation, I just realized I look back at the people I follow and everything. Sorry to interrupt you. I look back at the people I follow and everything. Not one person is ever talking about customer service.
I don't want to say that it's like the other side. It's the dark side because it's not the fancy, fun. I could go out harder work. Yeah.
Hard care. You can't teach care.
Yeah.
You cannot teach care. You cannot teach somebody to say, hey, you know what? It's Saturday night, 7:00. This customer's calling you. You can answer? Because 9 out of 10 millennials, and I don't not to generalize everyone, but they're not going to do what it takes to make sure they know what that customer wants. They'll wait till Monday.
But I got to be honest, and I think it's also like the big brands. I don't know if you guys ever get on the phone, like Apple and Facebook. They don't do customer service anymore. They don't have to. I get it, but like, wouldn't you just feel a little bit better that you could call in somewhere? Like,
I heard something. I was listening to something the other day, and I firmly believe in this: is that you can take what the big brands, big companies are doing. Yeah. You can follow a lot of their model, but you can do things that they can't. Right. So the analogy that was used is like a cruise ship. A cruise ship takes forever to turn. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But as a small business, you can take their model, you can take their playbook, you can take what works for them, but you can maneuver like a jet ski. And what's the best way to maneuver like a jet ski? Customer service. Yeah. Right. Handling things and let's face it, there's companies out there. We cross some paths in some of what we do, especially with the web design part. There's big name companies out there, but why are they calling you?
We answer the phone.
Right? And there's value to that, and there's a price for that. And don't forget that,
I want to foresee it, but I think we still have a little ways to go. But I think that the other thing like that I'm working on is not having the megacorp agency that's doing millions and millions of dollars a year, but again, having 7, 8, maybe 10 solid clients that I know I can like just genuinely help and just staying with them for an extended period of time, you know?
So I agree 100%. We were talking about this.
Because that in itself is a business.
It's a business. It is. The issue that comes with that, right? And this is, again, playing that devil's advocate side, right?
Please do.
It's a great business, right? And it's a great path. But at the end of the day, when you have a company like that, you're running an agency like that, let's just call it an agency.
Freelancing. I think freelancing is the better term.
But it could still be a business. It could be an agency. There's plenty of agencies, big agencies that have a handful of clients, but you're talking millions of dollars a year. The problem, it's the same thing on a bigger scale, but the problem is you lose one of those clients, right? Your business is not necessarily tied to their business, right? They could be having payroll issues. They could be having accounting. They could be having all the issues in the world. It's out of, you lose control, you lose that client, and guess who's suffering? You and your company, your agency, right? So you have people underneath you. So, it's a good path, right? I think it's a good way to start.
I think you can. What I'm saying is, I think people underestimate how far that will take you, though. You know what I mean? Where I think so many people are like a Russian, like even me. Like I'm really 6 months into this, like realistically, but. And I keep thinking to myself, like, I gotta grow. And a part of me is like, I kind of have to get that patience back. You guys are like 3 steps ahead of me. So I'm like, what is that? What kind of what you're going at? It's like, it's more or less like take your time with it, or is it like, does it have to be that go?
So I use the analogy I hear from Andy Versello a lot that I've been listening to for years since his MFCEO podcast. But he coins the term aggressive patience. Yeah. Right? You have to be patient. You got to let things cook. You got to let them simmer. But you got to be aggressive about it in the sense that you can't just say, oh, yeah, it's going to happen one day. Like, you got to put things in place. Right. There's a great book I read many years ago. It's by Patrick Bet-David, Your Next Five Moves, right? And, a lot of the moves you do now, right, you're doing the first 2 moves so you can set up the 4th and 5th move. Right. You can't get to the 4th and 5th. No matter how much you want to go to the 4th and 5th move, you got to do 1 and 2 first. But it takes time.
Yeah. And so that, exactly what you just explained is what I was trying to get at, where it's a great foundation. That's exactly where I was not long ago, like a year ago, right? Like maybe a year and a half, 2 years, but I had a solid list of clients, right? And, I lost a client because it was something out of my control, right? I was providing all the customer service. I was answering the phone left and right, doing all the things you should be doing. And I realized when I lost that client that, well, all right, I have people that are, working with me that I have a paycheck, I have to pay them, and it's going to be tight, right? And that really frustrated me because it's something out of my control. I did everything right. I still lost the client. And it made me think, like, there's got to be another way. And then I think that opens up the door to this whole idea of, scaling, but I don't want to say scaling or pulling back on customer service, but the idea of scaling and getting aggressive and, feeding the engine, like we said, and just, letting the engines run and, seeing what sticks from there. Yeah. Right. And pulling, the good clients that you can out of it. And this is what we're doing right now, right? We have a lot of low barrier to entry products, and any of the clients that we know are going to be a good fit for our services and that are going to excel with our services, then we're going to pull them in, right? And we're going to let them know that, hey, we think you're a good fit. We could really help you out. But the other customers that are just interested, right, and they want to come in, they think they can make a quick buck, and, we're going to help them in that journey, then we'll be there for them, right? And we'll have a small project, quick turnaround, and we know that they're not going to be the client that's with us for, 5 years, right?
That's okay.
Yeah.
Guess what? They know people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not the idea of, not giving great customer service, but it's just knowing, like, hey, this is not going to be the client that, sticks with me for 5 years. So, we're going to provide a good service. We're going to give them, the options and the solutions that they're looking for, and move on. And that's okay, Yeah. So it's a patiently aggressive approach.
You know your worth, right? You know what you bring to the table. Not everyone's for you and you're not for everyone. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's knowing that before the relationship begins, that, hey, this might be a one-off thing. Right. This might be, hey, I just need some advice. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times that we talk about all the time where, we didn't get a sale out of this deal. This guy took an hour worth of my time on a phone call, and I got nothing out of it. But you know what? He got something out of me. Right. Will he tell someone? Will he refer me? Will he remember that? Well, I just feel better knowing I just helped somebody out. Yeah. And not everything has to be transactional. And for me, that's been I think a growing part of my business journey is knowing that, and early on when I was chasing that next sale and going, the floodgates were open. I was going after everyone and anyone, and I was burning myself out because I realized, hey, I'm not, when you say yes, you're saying also no to something. Right. So if I'm saying yes to you and guys like you who maybe I'm not the right fit for, I'm also saying no to you who, require a little bit more attention, something that I can service a little better. And it takes time. It's like dating, right? When you're a kid, right? Yeah. You fell in love, you had your high school crush, thought you're going to marry her, and then next thing you know, you're 25 years old, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. Like, I need to find out who I am first and what I bring to the table, and then things will fall in place for me. Yeah.
That's it, man. Yeah. So, I guess we're going to kind of cut to This Week in Biz. I think we went. By the way, I think we did a lot of good transitions in that one. But yeah, I think that have we gone through everything personally? I'm gonna cut this part out. Have we gone through everything? Like everyone's good? Yeah. Okay. Cool. We're at 55 minutes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got it all. I kept looking back. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna pivot this? Yeah. All right. Segment time. This Week in Business. Billy, you already started. Fuck, this is going to be so hard. Vasilios. Start us off.
How do you say it? Like
Vasilios.
Vasilios is like the full term.
Is it really?
Vasily or Vasily is like the short.
See, Manny didn't say that to me.
Shout out to Manny.
Sorry
we didn't have time for you today.
Manny Papadopoulos.
Manny Papadopoulos.
Man, the myth, the legend. He will be on here. I promise you it. He keeps saying he's going to come out, but Manny Papadopoulos, baby.
I think
start us off, baby.
One of the things this week I'm noticing, and again, my background is hospitality and restaurants, and a lot of restaurant owners have reached out because they had a menu on Google that they can't remove, or they don't even know why it's on there. And what they don't realize is that if they don't own or manage their own Google business page, Google will take whatever's out there. Somebody might have posted a menu last year on Google, and Google will take it and post it as your own menu. They'll actually type it out. They have the algorithms or the AI tools to take the name of the items, the descriptions, and the pricing. But in the restaurant world, pricing is not forever, right? What your food cost was today is not what it's going to be tomorrow. So restaurants will call me, hey, I got a menu up there. I don't even have these items on my menu, or the prices are actually wrong. So what we tell them is, hey, are you the owner or manager of your Google business page? If you are, great, you can manage it yourself. If you don't know how to do any of that, you call the right person, right? So we'll get on your Google business page. We'll help clean up your menu online so that it matches what you currently have in-house with the pricing and the items. And this way you got happy customers who aren't ordering things that you don't have. That's my tip today.
There we go.
It's pretty wild.
I've seen that. You've showed me many times. It's incredible how Google just pulls this information and slap it up on their own little thing.
You as a customer, right? You're not being malicious.
I'm sorry. Yeah. One last thing. Can you explain what Slice did? I think we should do a whole segment on that. Maybe we wait on that. Until next week. Not now. I think we eventually. I want to talk about that because that was some fucked up shit.
This is a whole other segment, but as you know, Google is a huge funnel for any business out there, right? When you're Googling tire repair near me, you're going to find a tire place around you. In the restaurant space, a lot of the mom and pops have no idea about Google and what it is and what it's used for. And so when someone from a company, I won't name companies, will call them and say, hey, listen, we're from Google. We're going to call your store right now and ask for a 6-digit code, right? Can you give it to us? Great. You don't know who that company is calling. And so that person or that company will get that code, and now they become the owner of your Google business page, which guess what? When you're the owner of the Google business page, you also control the funnel. So you can redirect the links, the sites, the menus, the photos to anywhere you want. Everything, right? So Google has, I think, over time tried to combat that, right? They require
you got to do a verification, things like that.
Video verification.
Video was a big one. That
Yeah.
was a big problem. We had with the clients.
So, there's one John Deere dealership in Belglade, Florida. One. We have to, every 6 months, go there, take a video. I have to, because the nearest street sign is a half a mile away. I have to get the street sign, get in my car, camera still on, drive back to the dealership, go inside, go behind, have the manager say, hey, open the register. Every single time.
You need the signage. You need all
Everything.
So
There's one street sign. I'm sorry, it's 3 miles away because it's in the middle of fucking farmland.
that's probably like an outlier that Google has. I don't want to cut you off, but
Your turn. Let's go. What do you got?
no, I got a funny story on that.
Let's hear it. Okay.
So it's a shout out to Sal. So we had
Salvatore, baby.
after the company went remote, we got an address in the city, right? It's in the Chrysler Building. I don't know what the address is, and so we had to
New York City.
Yeah, New York City. So we now have this address, and it's a office space, kind of like WeWork, right? But it's not WeWork related. Anyway, so we changed the location of the Google Business Profile, and now it's when Google released this video thing, right? You can only do video. You used to be able to do the postcard, you could get away with that. Then the phone call they did for a while. Now it's only video. So he had to go in to the city, takes the train in, and he's doing this recording. So he gets on and he's flipping out, right? Because he's got to go outside to the street corner and then get in the elevator past the security because he's not really supposed to be there. So through the security, go up the elevator, get to the floor. Now he gets to the floor. They're like, where's your signage? You need signage. And he's in an open building. It's WeWork. There's no signage anywhere. So redo, right? He goes back downstairs, restarts the video, prints out, before he did that, he printed out a piece of paper, taped it onto the glass of the wall. Literally a piece of white printer paper. Lentech logo. He goes downstairs, gets the corner sign, goes up through the elevator, gets the street thing. That wound up not working. They didn't accept the video. Finally they do a live call. Now you get on to somebody live and wherever with Google, and he got it done. But I remember he was flipping out. It was hilarious.
That goes to tell you, even the biggest companies in the world don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
so.
not at all.
But it's like, how can you track that? And you can't. There's like legit nothing you can do. Like people are gonna go through the cracks. They know that, and they're just like, yeah, and honestly, they're just like, fuck it, because what are they gonna do?
Can't keep tabs on everyone. Very hard. Even ads, Google ads. I had a quick story last week. My dad's company, they're having trouble with the printer. They're looking up HP, whatever, and they have scammers are running ads on HP. Gets on the phone. He's, all of a sudden they're asking for Bitcoin. It's like, what is this HP? Oh, this isn't Jimmy. This is Darnesh in India. Yeah, it needs Bitcoin. Like, no, HP isn't asking for Bitcoin, but this happens, and it's like they post these ads. They may get by for a few hours, few days, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
How many phone calls or messages do you receive from customers with the fake domain renewal papers?
I get it here. Yeah. I've been here for 6 months. I've gotten 3 papers of fake.
Says right on there, this is not a bill. It's a solicitation. So
Really?
it says it right on there, and there's been like 3 or 4 different variations of these. They're scammer bills, right? Because I get it maybe twice a week, and I just tell them, throw it away. It's a scam. I'm thinking about the customers who don't text me and ask me, and they end up paying it.
Yeah.
And how many more of them? How do they get away with it? And are we in the wrong business?
Seriously, oh my gosh, can I just send these out kind of like your customer today? Got a bill for
my company's IT department is so on point. We can't do nothing, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. But like, I understand why they do it. Nah, bro, you can't. I can't.
So can we throw a fun segment in here?
Yeah.
Speaking of scams, if you were to create a scam, what would it be? Yeah.
Well, not for nothing, but the domain thing sounds like a pretty hot
It's
market.
it's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good.
Pretty hot market.
I don't know. Oh, damn. I'd have to think about that one. I probably could think of one too, though.
We laugh all the time with again, going back to Lentech, but the files that come in and what people try to edit in bank statements, I wish I could show you guys. We could pull it up on here. Literally, it's not even the same font. They have the bank statement shows 0008, like $8 in the account, and they just put like a complete random 9 in front of it. Yeah, to make it look like there's like 90,000 in there. It's like, how can you even possibly think that you're gonna get by with this? It's the funniest thing.
There was a certain actually speaking of scams, it wasn't a scam, but there's a certain security company out there. You live in Riverview. They've probably knocked on your door once or twice. I'm not gonna say any names or anything like that, but you know where I'm going with this. Yeah. Yeah, no. In Florida, they still the door-to-door guys down here still will. They don't give a shit. But there's a certain security company out there that. So when you do home security, you have to run a credit check because really it's a loan. That's essentially what it is. Like you finance it. You know, we tell you it's just a monthly payment of $39.99, but it's a monthly payment of $39.99 for 3 years. No, for 3 years, and then a payment of $40 as long as you keep running the service. And then you have to upgrade your equipment every 3 years. Doesn't that work out? But that's besides the point. So there's a certain security company that before they had iPads, because now these guys walk around with iPads, they used to write it out on paper. I shit you not. So right, you'd have to write the contracts out on paper, and you'd have to call in to see if they got approved. So basically, someone would give you their social security number. You would call in to the lending company that you're working with. Like we're talking 10 years ago, before iPads or any of that was a thing. So you would call into the company. You give them the social security number. Great, give us 10 minutes. We'll call you right back. We'll run it. You bullshit with the customer, whatever it is. Great, you've been approved. Great, I've been approved. Still don't want the system. You sure? Still don't want the system. Okay, no problem. Go to the next house. Well, let me phrase that. Go to the next house in the ghetto. They would go to the ghetto. Ghetto is an easier sale over there, So they would go through the same thing. Oh, you failed credit. Give me 1 second. Hey, you got that other number that we ran before? Are they approved? Can we just put them down for this one, but put it in their name? They would swap social security numbers out. And for guys to get their commission checks, bro, that shit was fucked, bro. So like 6 months later, they would be like, wait. Why is this loan attached to me? Or they did it like a cosigner, so it's like it's there, but it's really not there. So it's like you would see it on, like, if you ran the credit report, you would see it there. But yeah, they would just do that because at the end of the day, the guys were getting paid commission no matter what, and they ended up having to pay out a very large lawsuit for that. They got caught in the end. But yeah, man, so
that's the scam you'd run?
Yeah, pretty much. Or honestly, I would go back to selling solar panels, bro, because that shit to me is a fucking scam, my guy. I don't care what anybody says. The tactics that they taught me to tell people when I got into a house, I am sorry, I will never put those panels on my house. It is the biggest scam that is out there.
It's funny, before it got real big, we got solar panels on our house in New York.
Anything for you?
Yeah, no, my dad loves it. He swears by it. But now the systems are too expensive. It's like it makes no sense today. In the past,
if you have I think it's a 3,200 square foot house, it's $70,000.
Just for the panels.
Yeah,
To buy them outright?
No, that's 25-year loan. It's 25-year loan. You can't it's more beneficial for them to stick you on financing than it is to loan them out, because you have to pay it off. And it's like one of the things they told us was like when you put them on the roof, like just tell them.
Are they transferable, and how so?
No, they are. Oh, wait.
So
What do you mean?
In 10 years.
When you sell the house, no, you have to get a payoff quote, and you incorporate that into your pricing to make sure that you can pay it off. But they're like, yeah, it's a selling factor. Here's the problem: they're only covered for 25 years. I mean, they last a pretty long time, from my understanding. But the problem is, if your company goes out of business, another company won't touch it. You're stuck with it.
And they seem like pop-up shops.
Yeah.
They are. Oh my God, man. Oh my God. I know there's a couple of, like, listen, don't get me wrong. There's a few of them out there that are they're actual companies, whatever.
I got a friend that we became close with, a business friend this year, and he's a lifer. He's been doing it for years, but he takes a very upfront, honest, and educational approach. But he's got a bad rap because a lot of guys in the business are just fly-by-nighters. And
Hold on. Let me be very clear here. I'm not saying that it's all a scam. I'm saying where I went to, the tactics that I was taught was a fucking scam.
Every industry has its bad apples, and it's good. Yeah.
Agencies? Are you kidding me? You know how many marketing agencies will go in and be like, I'll get you 50 million freaking views in the first month, whatever? Where's the monetization aspect of that,
No, you're right.
But speaking of that, TikTok is getting banned in a week and a half.
I can't wait. I think it's the best thing.
Elon buying it?
There's two people. Apparently, Kevin O'Leary put in a quote with the guy who owns the Dodgers, I believe, or some sports team. I don't know how he's getting the money. They want 300 billion. Sorry, 300 billion. Yeah, because.
They just wipe it out, honestly.
Well, I mean.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I firmly
believe I was listening to a clip from Elon Musk Mark Zuckerberg the other day, and I don't love the guy, I don't hate him, but he brought up a great point. And essentially, to sum it up, in China and these other countries, they ban are apps left and right. You can't get on Facebook, can't get on Instagram, can't get Google. You can't, in a lot of places around the world, China, Russia, like these are massive countries, but yet they're allowed to run their apps here and monitor everything that kids are doing. And there's been studies done. I've watched watched these studies that were taking place over a long term. They did it's like a video documentary that talks about the kind of content that they were pushing in the United States versus what they were pushing in Canada, in China. Sorry. So you have people that are
Re-say that for the clip. I'm sorry.
Re-say what?
You have to re-say that for the clip. You messed up. I'm sorry. You have to re-say it. That's a good
The kind of content that they were pushing to kids and anyone, the population in the United States versus the content that they were pushing to people in China was drastically different. You would see people playing instruments, learning how to do things, right? Engineering videos. Yeah, all these, and kids doing it, right? Because they were pushing it to kids to influence other kids to do those things.
And here it's twerking.
It's twerking, people half naked,
Charlie D'Amelio, all that crap.
completely useless information.
So you're not wrong about that. And as somebody who is at that level of virality with the internet, I can tell you that app was straight up pushing controversy. Like 100%. Like, you guys are looking at it from the kids' perspective. I got to see it from the political perspective.
Yeah.
That shit was hostile. And like, I got off of it. I flat out, don't hit the button. Yeah, that button loses it. I flat out like left the app for like years. I don't even really use it myself. Like I can't stand the app.
I've never had it on my phone. I
have to have it because of work and whatever it is. But there was a time where you were just kind of like, oh, okay, there's definitely something going on over here, As far as it goes now, the only reason that I would want to keep it is because there's a lot of local businesses that are on there that are relying on that app, to be completely honest with you guys. Like, there really is. Like, there's a lot of kids that are learning drop shipping, and there is that side of it. And I don't disagree with you at all. Like I said, from the person who's seen it firsthand, who's on these apps probably 6 to 7 hours a day for his career. But there is a lot of good that has come out of it. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of money. There's a lot of kids that...
Yeah, but it's not like there's no options.
No, 100%. And listen, they're just going to move to Instagram. They're going to go to Instagram and the Facebook, whatever it is. But my whole thing with it is that the better of two evils, play devil's advocate, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, Facebook is an American company. And they can do, like, if they're going to take my data, fine. At least it's an American company taking my fucking data.
And I know I'm not being manipulated.
Well, to an extent, but also to me, it's more the data thing. Like, if you really read through the white pages of what TikTok is taking and all this other stuff, it's a lot. Like, they get a lot. Like, they basically get access to everything. Yeah, 100%, 100%. But again, if it's an American company doing it, like YouTube, like Instagram, that's totally fine with me. But to an extent, but the other part of it is like, I think people have woken up the last 2 years, last 4 in particular. I think that I think 8 years ago, I think that everyone was just too stupid. Like, we were in that phase of mind-numbing rot that was on the internet, that people were just listening to it. But I also think because of these apps, because we have so much variety of different places to go, that's what really woke people up to, like, what's going on over here. I don't think it had anything to do with particular people.
There's definitely a few people. I can name 2 right now.
What do you mean?
Trump, Andrew Tate.
No.
There's people that called it out.
No, 100%. I'm saying that they called it out, but without TikTok, there is no Andrew Tate. That was the main platform that he used to propel that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not on TikTok, and I knew Andrew Tate. So somehow, some way, he got to me.
He was still on Instagram. We talked about the accounts.
There's a million of them on Instagram.
Real quick, yes, it was on Instagram, but the main one that he started with was because it was this was at a time that you could, dude, I could legit post a picture of an apple and the thing would go fucking viral. Like, literally. Like, this was the Wild West of the internet, like the last bit of the Wild West of the internet before everybody cracked down on everything. This dude had a system in place that he was posting, I think, 10,000 videos a day or something like that. And he mass distributed it to TikTok, and then it went to YouTube, and then it got so big over there that the mainstream media had no choice but to talk to it. So there was a lot of good that did come out of it, and they were their own worst enemy, you know, because again, they were pitting that controversy against every single person, but they lost in the end. Because at the end of the day, like, people woke. It took a couple of years, but everybody. I think now it's like people have wised up to being like, to going back to, because I don't know if you remember, like back in the 90s, don't trust the internet was like the biggest thing in the world. My parents never put a credit card into the internet. Now I use the internet. I pay for everything on the internet now. You know.
I just gave, we talk about, accountants, bookkeepers. I just gave all my account access away today. Shout out to Brooke, love her. But she's got access to everything now, like, hey.
It just cancel me now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, look how much has changed, but yet I still feel like we're going back to that whole don't trust anything on the internet, because there's a lot of shit I watch that I'm like, I probably shouldn't trust this.
Yeah. Well, I stand firm. I hope it gets removed. I think it's a great thing. Not for nothing. We're all talking about running ads. You know how much the cost of ads have gone up, right? Users have diversified the platforms they're on. Now we get rid of TikTok. Mark Zuckerberg, he used that point to push his narrative, which is a good one, right? I'm on board with that. But at the end of the day, he's getting it. I don't know how it's going to shake out. I'm not, but the users that are going to influx from TikTok to Instagram Reels, back to Facebook.
This is the year of LinkedIn, by the way. LinkedIn video. I think this is the year of LinkedIn video.
We could talk about this another time.
That's a whole episode. That's a whole episode.
So hard they can't get their feeds down right. They can't get it down right. It's horrible. You can't scroll through LinkedIn and have a seamless experience. It's horrible.
I saw the same copy and paste post go
viral
14 times in one day.
Things don't play. It doesn't load. You got to click in to watch something. Yeah, it's a big UI issue, but we'll get into that. Anyway,
all right.
Last thing.
You go.
This is one of those things. I think it's.
This is Billy's time. Billy's corner.
I like this. It's a little personal goals, right? It's one of those things we talk about a lot. We bounce ideas off each other. Things we want to do, but this is the place now where we're going to hold each other accountable. So week 2, you could say. Week 1, we're real official here, but what do we got this week, Tony? What do you got as Yeah, let's start with you. What do you got this week?
I have got to. I'm trying to work out twice a day. I'm trying to eat right.
Twice a day.
Yeah, twice a day. Early workout in the morning of early workout resistance training in the morning, and then at least a 45-minute walk every night.
Okay.
And then
eating healthy.
Eating healthy, yeah.
You wouldn't eat the
I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't. I only ate the grilled stuff tonight. Diet is more important than the gym, to be completely honest with you. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my face is like, I got like fucking zits everywhere. Like, I'm not happy with this right now. Like, I'm really not. For the first time, like the last time I felt like this was right before I did the weight loss journey last year and dropped all that weight. Like, I took a good look in the mirror this week and I was like, damn, I gotta really like fix some shit, So that's what I'm working on. Yeah. I will also say though, you guys know Andy Elliott, right? You don't like him? I love Andy. I like him. He's such a fucking asshole. He's too much. Yeah, I know. Can I be honest with you? I think he's actually a really good guy. I think he's definitely putting on a little bit of a show. But he did say something. He said one thing that really hit me. He's like, I didn't have to sacrifice my health for my business. And I did sacrifice my health for my business, because business-wise, I'm on top of my fucking game, bro. Health-wise, went to 0. That's part of the business stress, but, and I kept telling myself, it's just, just focus on this, that's it. And I'm happy I did it like that, but I just wish I wouldn't have let it get this far, So that's where I'm at.
You gotta put the updates in the chat. Turn on your Life 360. We want to make sure you're walking at night.
Krispy Kreme.
We'll go drop it off. Yeah. We'll go get some Krispy Kreme when it comes out. So what do you got this week, Bill?
Yeah, what do you got?
I'd like to be more accountable to a lot of my customers and followers in our school community. So I started a community a couple months ago. I don't know what it's up to. I think I'm almost at 100. My goal was to get to 100, but the truth is I haven't been true to posting the content to help them learn about, particularly in Canva. We use Canva a lot in our space. In the restaurant menu design space. So I like to be more accountable to myself. I'm on endless calls all day with customers going menu reviews and whatnot. So I want to record some of these calls, some of these interactions. And, I'm not real big on video editing, but, sometimes people just want to hear how to talk to a customer live.
Yeah.
And I get those questions a lot. It's like, hey, what do you do in this situation? So I think I just record it, get the permission from my customer. Hey, I'm going to record this for training purposes. Are you cool with it? Post it on my school community, and let people learn from it. And hopefully, as a side note, a kid that's very close to me, who's been with me for a couple of years now, one of the greatest, I guess for me, my position, gifts or blessings is when someone is inspired by what they've done with me to go start their own thing.
No, that's good.
So that just happened this past week. I couldn't be happier for him, and he kind of asked me to take him under his wing and help coach him with the whole business side of it. So there's a part of that plays all together. It was like helping others, achieving their goals through business, and I think the school community is a part of that.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go down a different path with it, and no school is tied to it, but that's a good one. So we'll hold you accountable to that, and we'll see how it goes. I got to get it. I don't know if I even have the school app. I got to get on the school app. But you got to join so you can check and see what's going on. All right, good.
Schmuck, you didn't join it?
I don't have school. I
You're a
don't.
shitty bill number 2, man.
I know. That's why I'm Bill too. No, but that's cool. I've seen what's going on with the Orama page. It looks great.
I'm actually moving to WAP. That's the one I'm gonna head over to.
How do you like it? I like the content.
I like it.
Put more
You put a lot in there.
I liked it a lot.
I
It's
think it's also just Bill. Someone told Bill about school, and he had it up and running in like 2 days. Like just was like, fuck it, let's just go. He's got 100 people in there, and he don't even post content, which is even crazy.
Talking about scams, right? There's something in the making there, but it's free, so I don't feel horrible.
That's it, man. Free baby, FREE.
No, but the content was great.
All right,
That's where I thought you were going.
Billy number 2.
Number 2. So I think this week I've gotten a lot of the. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but being organized and responsible when it comes to business, it's not just something that you could do as a hobby, right? That really hit home in the end of 2024. I had a huge push in the last 48 hours of 2024 to get a lot of financial documents done and prepared. So thanks to Bill, number 1 over here, hooked me up with some great people.
Ryan, baby.
Yeah. And in 48 hours, I could tell you my P&L. Before that, I had no clue. So that was one aspect. This week, my goal is to figure out more of my personal schedule and how that fits in. For the last, I want to say 3 or 4 months, I wake up. I was going to the gym every once in a while, or I'd say most mornings, but not all. I felt like crap. I was falling asleep in the afternoon because I was waking up early, going to bed late. And to be honest with you, I'd come into the office here. I was here for 8:30, 9 o'clock the latest, and I wouldn't leave until 6:30, 7:30, sometimes 8 o'clock at night. So I'm not even seeing daylight at that point, and it feels like crap, especially when you're in Florida and it's beautiful, So I think this week my goal is to figure out my personal schedule, figure out what my day-to-day is going to look like. When am I going to get to the gym? Because I need to. I haven't been there. And I feel it in my head, but I do feel better because I've actually slept. I've gotten full nights of sleep. Yeah. So figuring out my personal schedule is definitely the goal for this week, what the day-to-day is going to look like.
I heard something a while back, and it kind of stuck with me, is that if you want to take a good look at someone's bank account, look at their health. There's something oftentimes that correlates between someone who prioritizes the health we talked about earlier and how it kind of transcends into, your personal financial life. And one of my wife makes fun of me because I have some of my cliches and sayings that I regurgitate. And one of them always stood with me is like, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Right. So we talk about something as simple as the P&Ls, right? It's the end of the year. Right. Yeah. And we talked about it, and not to get too much in each other's business, but I'm like, hey, do you know what's going on within your stuff, and how much more confident do you feel now? Yeah. Right. Whole different. I'm talking to you, and you're a whole different person. You're like, yeah, I know now I'm making money, but I know where it's at. Right. Or I'm losing money, I know where the hole in the bucket is. So, but that also translates to, hey, you know what? I tried to run around the block and I got out of breath, or you know what, my niece or nephew, my kid asked me to play catch and I was too tired to do so. So that's kind of a big thing for me is like, you're never gonna be perfect in all angles, but can you be consistent enough that, you know what, I'll take a cheat day here, but you know what, I'm making it up tomorrow. And the average of out of 7 days, if I'm for 5 days, you know, eating right or doing the right thing or have the good habits over the course of a month, a year, 10 years, hopefully, you know, with some luck, because you need a lot of luck, you know, things might work out in your favor. And I apply that to business too.
I think, you know, one of the things you see we talk about social media all the time, but you see this, you know, you got to be in the grind, you got to work out, you got to stick to this schedule. And I was trying to do that so hard. And I felt like crap.
Can I be honest with you? I think that's a little overglorified.
It's not, I don't mean like grind, like, oh, you know, we're grinding everything. I mean, you know, you wake up, you stick to your schedule. I was the person that I would get into bed, let's say around 11 o'clock. I'm up by 5:30, 6 o'clock. I go to the gym. I come home. I make a quick breakfast, right? Like a shake. I got out of eating, you know, a real meal. I had a shake. I'd head to the office. I'm here all day long. I get home. It's, you know, it's dark out. It's 7:30 at night. I eat a late dinner, and you're in that wheel, right? Now it's 7:30 at night. You're eating dinner, and what do you do after that? I take the dog for a walk, and then I, you know, chill out for a little bit because that's my time to relax, right? And now next morning I'm back up at 5:30, 6 o'clock again, and I felt like crap on that. Felt like crap.
You know, quite honestly, and I said this before, being older than you guys, and being at a different stage of my life, you know, with the family and kids, is that I look at your time now and I'm like, holy shit, I was in the same position where, you know, I thought, let's put it this way, I thought I didn't have a lot of time, right? Meaning that, you know, I was just busy all day. Then you realize when you don't have time, when you truly don't have the capacity, right? Like you have other obligations, how much more resourceful you can be. Yeah. So think about the guy who unfortunately loses his leg in an accident, right? How you try to hold the door, no, I got this. Like they take it upon themselves to say, hey, you know what? I'm missing this, but I'm going to make it up here. Yeah. So I use time a lot as that analogy of like, when you have all the time, you find things to fill it up and make excuses as to why, hey, you know what? I'll put this off or it's not my best year. Right. When you don't actually have the time, I mean, look at somebody who's in the later years of their life and just their outlook, right? How much they see things and it's sweeter. You know, you've been around grandparents who there's that little sense of, hey, this might be the last Christmas. You know, we've lived that. I lost a parent, you know, and an in-law, and things become a little more sweeter in that context because you just don't know. And so, you know, and not to be, you know, not to go down that path, but I look at you guys and maybe there's a little big brother syndrome in me where I'm like, hey, you know, you're on the right path. It's fine to think that way because I was in the worst position as far as budgeting my time, but it gets better. It does get better because you get better every day. You know, you might be a white or blue belt now in what you're doing, but there's levels, and you can, as long as you always have that improvement mentality, you'll look back 10 years and be like, holy crap, like, dude, I got more time than I had when I was 25.
An old friend of mine from college called me. Actually, we spoke for the holidays because I like to catch up with old friends, whatever it is. You know, just be like, yeah, how you doing? What's going on? You know, people are shocked when you do that, by the way. But I called him, and he was conflicted on whether or not he should quit his job. He did the right thing financially for years to the point where his retirement basically, like, he can't retire now, but if he never dropped another dollar into his retirement account, he would be set at 65. So, and he said to me, he's like, and he went around asking this question to a lot. He asked people who didn't quit their job, people who did quit their job. He asked a lot of people. He's like, and I was the last person he asked. He goes, when you quit your job, was it worth it? He asked people that got more successful and people that got less successful. But the most common thing I realized, the ones that did quit their job, whether they were successful or not, they were a lot happier. He asked one dude, you know, like was it worth it? And he goes, he was working at a very, very large tech company, that like the biggest like the biggest tech company you could work for. And now he's a dog trainer. The guy said, I am so much happier now training dogs every single day. I am happy. I make minimum wage, but you know what? I support my family. I'm not looking to make the money, and I'm pretty like set up. And I don't mind doing this. You know. He asked another person who was successful, and this successful person had a lot of money, wasn't happy in life at all. And I think it was because they had gotten money very, very early and they didn't have to work for it. And then he asked me, and I said to him, I was like, listen, there's no easy answer to this. I just want you to understand who you're asking. You're asking the guy that packed up his car twice, moved across the country, did not know anybody, and does not give a flying fuck about anything. Like, just will go balls to the walls on majority of things, and is probably not the smartest person. With where you're at now at 30 years old, the chances of you having $0 in your bank account and making $0 for the next 30 years are slim to fucking zero. Because, like you said, every step of the way that you go, you are better, you have improvements, and you have skills. It would probably be easier for me right now to pack up and go somewhere else with all the skills I've attained in the last 3 years. And I did it when I had no skills. So I think on the whole subject of time, it's not really like about having the time. I think it is about having the time, but I think that people underestimate how much time they like really fucking have, you know?
There's a lot to be said there.
You ever hear the phrase, "I knew a man so poor, all he had was money"?
That lead me to this. I came up with this one. Money without purpose buys misery. Money with purpose buys happiness.
You ever see anyone frown on a jet ski?
I am so afraid of jet skis, bro. I'm scared shitless of jet skis, man. I do not like those things.
Oh, so much fun.
Hell no, bro.
No, you never frown on a jet ski. Actually, one time, quick story. I was on a jet ski. I was like 15. There was this huge boat, right? And they had thrown a huge wake off, right? And the guy's up on the top. They're probably hammered. And he's like, yeah, he's pointing at us, hit the wake, you know? So I go up one time, and it was a massive boat. I go up, hit the other side, and I'm like, oh, that was sick. I go to do it again. I hit the wake, and I landed on the other side. I tried to hop it from one side to the other, slammed my face into the jet ski, cracked my teeth.
You were frowning.
I got up. My friends, I saw the blood dripping down my face. I was like, holy crap, like what just happened? But I think I was still smiling, honestly. I think I got up and I was like, hell, what the hell? You know, like, yeah. No, jet skis are fun, man.
I like jet skis, I like motorcycles, and I'm good.
Jet skis are fun. You hit the water, it's, you know.
All right.
It's like cement at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I think we did pretty good. That was a good, solid second episode.